Most people are stuck in a system designed to work harder and not smarter. We're here to expose the strategies, the loopholes and the life hacks the 1% use. This is universal basic knowledge.
How can you get free money from banks and use it to build wealth instead of debt? Most people think credit cards are just tools for spending. But what if I told you that they could also be a tool for making and, most importantly, saving money? So we often focus a lot on rewards cards and all the benefits that they can unlock. But did you know that many credit card companies offer 0% APR promotional periods, sometimes for up to 21 months? They do this because they think and know that people will generally carry a balance past the promo period, and they'll get hit with super high interest rates. But what if you never paid a dime in interest and use that money to make and save more money? So here's how it works. You take out a 0% APR card and use it strategically, not for mindless spending, but for investing. This is called stoozing. So this is called the 3 stoozes. We're gonna focus on existing cards because I think it's an important thing to talk about. We're gonna focus on rewards, and then we're gonna focus on the concept of income, which we're gonna see if it's worth it, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So first and foremost, we're gonna talk about existing cards. We talk a lot about hacking credit cards and doing all these various things with credit cards, but credit cards are very, very dangerous. In fact, right now, we are at the highest amount of credit card debt in the entire country that we've ever been in. So people are defaulting, they're paying tremendous amounts of interest rates. You can look it up, it's tremendous. So that's why I'm saying this here now. Because if you have existing cards, and it's been years, and hopefully you don't carry a balance, because you need to work the credit card so that it works for you, not against you, right? A lot of people are really focused on using cards and then they're just paying the minimum payment. And so one of the things that you can do, and if you qualify with the stews, is first and foremost, look at your current card. If you're carrying a balance, you want to focus on the interest rates that you're currently paying. And many of these 0% APR cards want your business, and they will approve you for their card, and you can transfer that balance in there. And you can do that in many different ways. You can spend that money, and there's always ways to manufacture that spend to get that money out in order to pay off this debt. Sometimes they allow balance transfers directly. So there's always ways to be able to create money. You can go get a money order. There's a variety of ways with a credit card to get money out, to pay one balance, to then put it into one of these guys that have a 0% interest rate. That's what's gonna save you the absolute most amount of money. And you should potentially be careful and not use credit cards if you have a habit of carrying a balance. That is one of the worst things that you could possibly do. So that's a disclosure. Please be careful with your spending and use your credit card. The second opportunity on why you wanna have a lot of these different cards is that it builds credit. One of the things that is important, even if you don't qualify for a 0% APR card, is that the way that the credit system works, it's focused on your credit limit, your total credit limit. So if we have person A who has a $2,000 debt or a $2,000 revolving credit line, meaning I spend about $2,000 a month, and every month I pay off my balance, and I have a total of $10,000 that I can spend, meaning that my credit cards, I have 2 cards, say that both of them are $5,000 total, then basically I can spend up to $10,000 a month, and I have $2,000 that I have at any time that my balance is carrying. It means that I use a 20% utilization, right? So I am using 20% of the total amount of credit that I, as an individual, have in a given month. Now, this 20% will dictate your credit rate, your credit score, how cheap you get mortgages, how cheap you get auto loan rates. It's basically everything. It's one of the most important things in your credit score. Now, let's say we have person B. And so this person had 2 cards, right, as in the example that we're using here. Person B has the same numbers, right? It uses uses $2,000 a month, but this person has a let's say $40,000 credit score or credit total amount, and they have 8 cards, as an example, that have a $5,000 balance each, max credit limit. So this person now has the capability of spending up to $40,000 a month. They have 8 cards. That's a lot more, because a lot of people are scared to have a lot of cards. And there's no problem having a lot of cards. You can apply for a bunch of different cards, and the more cards that you have actually will improve your credit score over time. This is something that a lot of people do not know. So this person's credit utilization is 5%, right? How do we get the 5%? 2,000 of 40,000 is 5%. Right? And so what this means, what this shows the banks, what this shows credit ratings, is that this person does not really rely on debt. And so it'll allow you to then get other cards and better credit scores and get lower interest rates. And so you're more likely to get approved for future STUSs, as an example, or other rewards cards to essentially apply. And so you want to have as many cards as possible over time if you're using them intelligently, because you can actually get lower interest rates, and it's better to be person B. Person B is gonna have a lot better time and save a lot more money over time if they're intelligent about it, okay? So that's a forward. I just wanted to touch on the fact that that's one of the first things that we should focus on. So I'm gonna erase some of this here, okay. The second component is rewards, right? This is where I would actually recommend you use the STUSs depending on your budget and how your spending is. So in the past, a lot of what we've talked about has been around rewards. And typically the way that rewards card work is that you apply for a reward card and then there's some sort of spending limit. Usually it's $10,000 in the first 60 days or $30,000 in the first 90 days. Usually the higher it is, the more points you're gonna get because it's harder to hit. They know a lot of people aren't gonna hit it. So that's why they give you that, right? And so what you could potentially do if you have one of these 0 APR cards, right? These 0% APR cards, is that the rewards cards, they're not gonna have 0% because they're giving you rewards. That's the trick. They want you to spend so they carry the balance, so they're paying 27% interest, right? So don't fall for that trick. Use the cards the way they're meant to be used. And what you could do is you could use the balance from the 0% card to go to the store, and essentially if you know that you're gonna spend 10 grand in groceries for the year, right? And you have an APR card, right? A 0% APR card that gave you $10,000 for 1 year. What you can do is use the rewards card and buy 1 year worth of gift cards for that grocery store, gift card. And then essentially you could use the $10,000 from the APY to pay off this debt, right? To pay off the reward debt. So in this scenario, you are getting 0% APY for $10,000. You're gonna use that grocery anyway. You have money who's gonna come out, but it's not coming out of your bank account if you're tight. But you also will be able to get the value from the rewards card and then basically get whatever perk they had for the 10,000 miles, which allows you to take your family on vacation or whatever, your honeymoon or whatever you're gonna do. So this is one of the best ways to actually maximize this STUSing concept, is basically if you don't have money for the rewards or you're trying to figure out how to pay for it, you do not wanna go into debt on these rewards. That will unbalance the equation of what's possible with these reward cards. And so it's something that you always want to keep in mind. Where this concept first came from was really this idea on income. And so this is just mostly for, you can decide if this is worth it for you, if it's worth it to make an extra $600 or whatever it might be. But the example of STUSing is that basically, if you get approved for $10,000, and say that you get that for 12 months. And there are high yield savings accounts. There's a ton of them. We're gonna do a video on it. And you can get anywhere from 4 to 5% interest rate, at least right now in 2025. And so over the course of that year, 5% interest of $10,000 is $500. So you can basically take the money from here, right, the $10,000, you deposit it into one of these high yield savings, and then it will basically make you $500 for free. At the end of that year, you pay off the $10,000 and you made $500, right? It's a lot of work for $500, you know what I mean? But if you're gonna be able to get 150,000 points, what we know is that sometimes $500 could be worth $5,000 because you get 10x value on those points, right? And so $5,000, that might be worth the hassle, for you in that sense, which is why I recommend if you're low on cash and worried about some of those, here's an excellent way to be able to do that while still being able to take advantage of that. Another thing that people can do, and again, we're gonna do a video on this as well, is that potentially you could use this to start a business. There's a lot of existing businesses out there that are a few $1,000s. In some cases, the sellers of those businesses will even finance it. They'll seller finance it for you, and you can start operating and buying an income stream. Now, that's a lot more risky And again, we're gonna do a whole other episode on that because that's not applicable for everyone that's watching this video right now. But these are some of the ways that you can earn income with this concept of stoozing and getting this 0% APR and all the benefits around it. So we just went on a ton of different ways and strategies in order to how to make credit cards work for you. Now, I just want to be really clear here that credit cards are very dangerous. And these things will only work for you if you make your monthly payment in total every single month. You do not want to carry a balance unless it's a 0% balance, and you want to ensure that after the promotional period, you are not doing and utilizing the strategy, because this is how people get into debt. And so it's important to make the cards work for you, not against you. And the more cards you own can actually benefit your credit, and I'll open a ton of opportunities for you as long as you do this correctly. The system is designed for banks to profit off of you, but with the right strategy, you can flip the script. Instead of paying interest, you can make interest, or even better. Used correctly, stoozing can make owning an exotic car, investing in real estate, starting a business, or taking advantage of other rewards without spending any more than you do today. If this sounds interesting to you, join our free community. You don't need to be rich to live like the 1%. You just need to learn what they do. With the right strategies, you can 10x your lifestyle without spending any more than you do today. The difference is not income, it's information. This is universal basic knowledge.